World War I, also known as the Great War, ended with an armistice between the Allied nations and Germany. The armistice went into effect on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. In November of 1919, President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed November 11th as the first commemoration of Armistice Day. An act approved in May of 1938 made the 11th of November in each year a legal holiday, a day to be dedicated to the cause of world peace and to be thereafter celebrated and known as Armistice Day. In 1954, after World War II, President Eisenhower amended the Act of 1938 by striking the word armistice and inserting the word veterans. With the approval of this legislation, November 11th became a day to honor American veterans of all wars. From the inception of our nation, the sons and daughters of Asheville and Western North Carolina have answered the call to arms and served with courage and honor. Today, we recognize a few of these veterans. Today, we take time to reflect upon their selfless service and sacrifice.
I am Private James H. Alexander. I was born on December 23, 1756 in Buffalo Creek, Rutherford County, North Carolina. I enlisted a total of 5 times in the Revolutionary War. I fought in the battles of Musgrove Mills on August 18, 1780, got injured in the Battle of Kings Mountain on October 7, 1780, and the Battle of Cowpens on January 17, 1781. After the war, I married my wife, Rhoda Cunningham, had 10 children, and moved to Buncombe County. We lived in Swannanoa for the first year of our marriage before moving to Asheville. Our property bordered what is now known as Biltmore and Patton Avenues. I operated a saddle and harness shop and became one of the most respected and successful people in Buncombe County.
As the nation approached the third year of the Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1, 1863. The proclamation paved the way for the establishment of regiments of African Americans, many of whom were former slaves. The 1st North Carolina Color Regiment of volunteers was one of these regiments. My name is Private Jordan Swindell. I was born a slave in New Bern, North Carolina. I ran away from the plantation and joined the 1st North Carolina Colored Regiment in June of 1863. Assigned to Company H, I fought in and was wounded at the Battle of Olustee. After Olustee, I suffered other illnesses and was hospitalized on a few occasions, but continued to serve until the end of the war. I was discharged from the U.S. service on 1st of June, 1866 at Charleston, South Carolina.
My name is Ernest Boyce McKissick. I was born in Kelton, South Carolina on December 25, 1897, and moved to Asheville, North Carolina in 1900. On April 29, 1918, I was drafted into the Army while assigned to the 92nd Infantry Division, served on the battlefields of France. I was honorably discharged on March 20, 1919, and on October 8, 1919, I married my sweetheart, Miss Magnolia Esther Thompson. We had 4 children, 3 daughters and 1 son. After the war, I became involved in bettering my community in Asheville. I was the oldest living member of the Young Men's Institute, a board member of the local YMCA, and an active member of my church. I died on April 4, 1980 from a long illness, and my final resting place is at Violet Hill Cemetery in Asheville.
My name is Jesse Nivens Gullidge. I was born in Morven, North Carolina on September 17, 1907. A couple of years before I joined the Army, I moved to Rayford, North Carolina. I was 33 years old when I enlisted for the Army and shipped off to the European theater during World War II. For a time in early 1945, I moved into a small house with a family of 3 in Louvain, Belgium. As the Allies advanced into Germany, my unit was stationed outside of Berlin. I think my most memorable moment in the war was when I shot down an enemy plane. Once Berlin was liberated, I was put into a division where we would set up checkpoints and try to catch Nazis as prisoners of war. After the surrender of Germany, I returned to Rayford, North Carolina, where I worked at a post office for the next 30 years of my life before I passed in the spring of 1992. My great-great-grandnephew, Daniel Smith, is currently a math teacher at A.C. Reynolds High School in Asheville.
My name is Charles George. I was born a member of the Eastern Band of the Cherokee in Cherokee, North Carolina on August 23, 1932. My Cherokee name, Solly, means self-sacrifice. I enlisted in the United States Army in March of 1951 at the age of 18. Assigned to Company C, 179th Infantry Regiment, 45th Infantry Division, the Thunderbird Division, I spent over a year in combat in Korea. In late autumn of 1952, the Thunderbird Division was fighting the Chinese in an area just north of Seoul. On the night of the 30th of November 1952, I was a member of a raiding party committed to engage the enemy to capture a prisoner for interrogation. Among completion of the raid, I remained with two of my colleagues to cover our unit's withdrawal from the enemy trenches. Seeing an enemy hand grenade land nearby, I shoved my squad mate out of the way and jumped into the grenade to shield the blast. For giving my life to save those of my fellow soldiers, I was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor.